making your lesson MP3, I'm going to say stuff like stop in your practice and do this. I mean later, not right now, so if you could not play, that would be cool. So we decided to learn some note names. Here's the 3rd fret, here's the 5th fret, here's the 7th fret. Stop for a second and just be like, okay, I can handle it. This is the 3rd, 5th, and 7th fret. We got dots on them. The 5th fret's where you tune. Cool. Then we had G and C, A and D. When you just do that a few times until you feel like you got those memorized, and then quiz yourself on that shit. Just be like, where was C? Where was A? Where was G? Like we did during the lesson, since it's our goal to actually just memorize that. And this is where I was like, this is just the same thing as walking into a room, meeting 4 people, deciding to remember their name, looking at it. This is the city, this is the state of base, this is the city of G, this is the city of A, it's just like that. So no going G, C, A, D to be able to think about D. Just decide, 4 notes. So stop, do that. Pretty easy when you're not on the spot or nothing. So you're doing things like where was A, where was D, where was G, just picking them at random from your head. And then we added the 7th fret where it's B and E, and we'll just make that a separate section. So now you're just being like, okay, and this is B and this is E. Awesome. So that's what we did. New section starts at 125 is us talking about this pentatonic 1 fingering, which is the first thing you've done. This is my next student. Let me just get her to chill for a second. Finish this out. And this will be part of your video, though not the featured part. Yeah, we'll just need a couple minutes. Thanks. I don't have anybody right after her, so we don't need to rush. Good time. So here we are back to real life. So we're doing this thing where you're playing, starting on the note A, which we now know is A, which kind of makes sense like when we were tuning. So you're going index, pinky, where you're not seesawing, index ring, no seesawing. So the first few times you're doing this, it's a list of shit. You're not trying to turn a scale into a song. I can go, but that's because I already learned how to do this. So you're just like, alright, a couple times where you just struggle through it, and then go ahead and try to play it in rhythm, really making sure to not do that seesaw thing. Here would be like a good starting tempo or whatever. And then rather than coming right back down, which is what everybody wants to do, I want you to get good at just going down the scale, which will probably just mean doing it like 2 to 5 more times, and then start coming back down, which is the same exact thing with the no seesaw situation. Cool. So 3 minutes into your video, we started doing hammer-on, so get all kinds of good at that before we move on. And now we're doing hammer-ons on the way up, which is this thing where I'm just hitting the string once. And then pull off, so the opposite. And this is really where it shows you how you have to have your index pinned there for this to work. Chances are, if it doesn't ring out, it's either that your index finger wasn't there in time, or that your right hand accidentally touched the string again. Like, it seems like it's that you have to do this big pluck thing here, but if your index is there, you just move away, it's going to sound. Cool, so there's us going. And this is something you're only trying after you're good at just doing the scale regular. 4 minutes into your video, we started talking about, okay, then I just wrote it at the 3rd fret. This is G. I wrote G minor pentatonic, same hand movement. Just kind of same fingering, pointing out that that's totally how it works. If I do it here, it's still going to sound like that same thing. And that's B, that's the B minor. Anyway, cool. So there's what we did so far. Get good up to there. And then we started doing Cricket Smile, which I really just moved to the other page. And we're going to start right where we were. We're going to go boom. And then we've got that thing where is what we're going to do, even though the other dude plays boom boom because he's got his 5th string. So we're boom. Then it's boom. 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 And we're still just hanging out exactly where we were, so that's your ring finger. Boom. Boom. Cool. So get good up to there, pause, get good up to there, pause, rather than moving on and doing the whole thing. Second half goes same as before. still doing the same. And that's when it changes. We have to move to the 3rd fret orientation. We've been at the 5th fret. Now we're moving back there for a minute and just going, and I wrote that on the page and going like that. And then you're boom, right back to the B or boom. So you're going to have to hop over to there and do it there. The thing that'll be a little confusing is the note we're ending with is the same note that we started with. But if we do it here, we have to do all kinds of crazy stuff with difficult fingerings. So we'll just, you know. Anyway, cool. So we didn't have much time to talk and get good at any part of that. It's cool and daring, like, you know, it's just the first thing you're trying to play. Also implied is like go work back through stuff that you've been playing and try to do it without, you know, seesaw and more efficient. When you're doing that, it's a list of stuff, and then you incorporate rhythm again. Really try to consciously focus on just being like, I'm showing myself the dance steps, now I'm dancing. That's something I'm going to say a lot, because it's so tempting to just do it in rhythm right from jump, and if you just do that like 2 to 5 times, you'll probably have it down. Alright, so right hand. We didn't talk about this during the lesson. We're going to now, and I'm purposely not bringing it up until now, because it's kind of like we wanted to just focus on your left hand. Here's my thumb resting on my pickup, and it's resting like kind of, you know, my thumb is bent like this, but it's flat, and that brings my hand into this position where my fingers are straight. We play guitar like this, with our fingers curled, but yeah, so when you're picking, it's going to be like you're pushing in at the string, rather than picking up towards the sky. And what happens then is like, you know, you're going to end up, if I hit the 3rd string, I'm going to end up touching the 4th string at the end, which is how we control our sound, you know, as opposed to if I was just like, I want to play something. So yeah, just kind of, you know, pushing just these 2 fingers and pushing in at the string. And at first you're going to want to just use your index finger for everything, probably. There is an exact technique for when we do which, but for now just be psyched to not do the same finger over and over. And the one thing I want you to do is when you're working on the scale now, just go this finger, this finger, this finger, this finger. So you know, as you go up the scale, which is just 2 notes per string, go index, middle, index, middle, on your right hand. And we're purposely adding that after the fact, since you're already good at the left hand part. It would be like overload. You think about all that stuff at once, and you could totally do it. It just wouldn't be optimal. So there's the stuff we're doing. That's what's up. There's your first lesson.